Hello again. The latest GCSE result, which were revealed today, showed something rather shocking, and it is something which has direct and strong bearing on immigration to this country. Put bluntly, more than 80% of white working class teenagers failed to get strong passes in mathematics and English, which really is the bare minimum expected by many potential employers. They Very few people want to employ a young person who has really not got much ability with basic arithmetic, cannot understand written English, or cannot form sentences in a coherent way. Just 19% of white working class pupils managed this. There are various reasons, but one is that there has been so much concern to prevent foreign children and those from immigrant families from failing academically that little attention has been paid to the children of our own people. All the efforts have been towards increasing the number of black teenagers gaining good passes and getting to university, or children from Bangladeshi families, gypsies, and every other minority group. White kids have by and large been left to fend for themselves. 25 years ago, there was a huge push which was known as widening participation, and the aim, a worthy one, was to increase the number of children from working class and ethnic minority backgrounds become doctors and lawyers and so on and get places at Oxford and Cambridge. It was soon realised that the optics of the thing meant forgetting about the white working class children and focusing instead on visible minorities. Let's face it, a photograph of sixth formers getting into Oxford might well include many working class ones, but this was not immediately obvious. It might still look like a group of people who are nearly all white. The same thing went for doctors and people training to be engineers or lawyers. What was needed to persuade everybody that widening participation was happening were visual images containing black faces. And so this became the object of the exercise. Too many white students became seen as the problem. Never mind how many of them might actually be the children of dustmen or charwomen. What was needed was visual evidence of inclusion. Organisations such as the BBC joined in this game with great enthusiasm, of course. The result is that a lot of white working class children at school now suffer from something which has been traditionally regarded as an exclusively black problem. Let me explain. In the description to this video, I give a link to a BBC report from their website which explains how GCSE grades are worked out. It is illustrated by two photographs. The first shows an Asian girl wearing a hijab and looking at her GCSE results, and the second shows various black pupils and those of South Asian heritage looking at their GCSE results. This is part of the course. It is often said to be very important that black children see themselves in images associated with things like academic success. But what has happened now is that the white children do not see themselves in such contexts. This doesn't matter so much for children with pushy middle class parents, but it can be disastrous for those from working class families where might not be a tradition of higher education. Every picture one sees in this country these days about academic success focuses on members of ethnic minorities. The white children have been airbrushed out of the scene. This leaves white working class children feeling that the whole thing is something for visible minorities rather than for people like them. All this ties in very strongly with legal immigration to Britain, so strongly that it almost looks like part of a coherent and deliberate plan. Because over 80% of white working class children now lack a basic ability in mathematics and literacy, they become very unattractive to employers. The employers can then claim that they can't find people locally to fill vacancies, and they then apply for visas so that they can bring in somebody from Africa or Asia to take the job instead. See how it works? Is this a plan with an overarching objective? I could not say, but the long-term effect is to create a large, uneducated and unemployed lumpen proletariat, while at the same time bringing in hundreds of thousands of immigrant workers from abroad.